Hi there, welcome back. This is part 2 of the two-part lesson on MUET 2020 Analysis Report Writing. In this video, we are going to continue with the writing process of the other three components in the report, which are analysis, synthesis, and conclusion. The fourth component in the report is the analysis. Here are the steps. First, we must identify the 4 items required to analyze. They are key features, data, time frame, and trend words. It is very important that we identify the correct subject reference and main key feature, correct data, correct trend words to use, and the correct time frame to use if the time frame is given. It is important we form correct sentence structures when we write the analysis. As mentioned in part 1 video, the data in figure 1 is a number data. In example 1, we are going to form analysis using the trend words for number data such as the highest or the most, the lowest or the least. In this sentence structure, we will start the sentence with in. This is because the time frame is in the form of years. Then, we state the time frame, followed by the subject reference and the main key feature, and the verb that we are going to use is was, the trend word, and the data. In January 2016, the number of guests in Harmony Homestay was the highest, 180. In December 2016, the number of guests in Merlot Homestay was the lowest, 45. In example 2, we are going to form analysis using the trend words such as higher than or more than, and lower than or less than. In this sentence structure, we will start the sentence with the time frame, followed by the subject reference, main key feature 1 and data 1. The verb would be was, then the trend word, and the word those, and main key feature 2 with data 2. Let's look at the example. In January 2016, the number of guests in Harmony Homestay, 180, was higher than those in Yasmin Homestay, 75. In December 2016, the number of guests in Merlot Homestay, 45, was lower than those in Harmony Homestay, 300. Next is example number 3. Here, we are going to form an analysis using the trend word the same. We are going to start the sentence with the subject reference, followed by the main key feature, time frame 1 and time frame 2, the verb, the trend word, and the data, which is the same data that is found in time frame 1 and time frame 2. The number of guests in Yasmin Homestay in January 2016 and December 2016 was the same, 75 guests. In the last example for figure 1, we are going to form an analysis using the trend words increased or rose, and decreased or declined. It is important to note that when using this type of trend words, you have to clearly indicate that there are two data taken from two time frames and they are compared. Here is the sentence structure. You start the sentence with the subject reference, followed by the main key feature, then followed by the verb. The verb can also be the trend word. Then with the word from, data number 1, time frame number 1, then include the word to, data number 2, time frame number 2. For example, the number of guests in Yasmin Homestay increased from 75 in January 2016 to 80 guests in June 2016. The second one, the number of guests in Malur Homestay decreased from 170 in January 2016 to 60 guests in June 2016. Now, we are going to look at examples of analyses that can be formed based on Table 1. The main data type in Table 1 is the rating data. Here, we are going to use the trend words highest rating, lowest rating, or same rating. In the sentence structure, you can see we will start the sentence with the time frame, subject reference, the verb gave, the trend word, data, for its, and the main key feature. For example, in 2016, the guests gave the highest rating 5 to Harmony Homestay for its facilities, cleanliness, and customer service. Now, in the previous example, the subject of the sentence is the guests. It is the guests that gave the rating to the homestay. But now, in this example, the subject of the sentence would be the homestay. Instead of using the verb gave, we are going to use the verb received. For example, in 2016, Yasmin Homestay received the same rating 2 for its facilities, cleanliness, pricing, and customer service. Now, in Table 1, there is also some number data which can be analysed. We can use the trend words most number of, least number of, more number of, than, less number of, than. Now, in the sentence structure you can see, we will start the analysis with time frame, subject reference 1, the verb received, trend word, the word or the phrase for its, data number 1, main key feature, subject reference 2, and data 2. For example, in 2016, Yasmin Homestay received more poor ratings for its features, 4 features, than Malur Homestay, 1 feature. Important note, here we are not comparing the rating scales, but more we are comparing the features that each homestay has. If you look at Table 1, you will see that Yasmin Homestay's features received more poor ratings than Malur Homestay. Another example, in 2016, Harmony Homestay received the most number of rating 5 for its features, 3 out of 4. In other words, Harmony Homestay has features that receive rating 5, and out of all the homestays, this is the homestay with the most number of features that receive rating 5. Now, let's look at some examples of synthesis. There are different ways to synthesize the information. Basically, when you synthesize, you are linking an analysis from one of the visual to another analysis or a description from a different visual. In this lesson, I will show you 3 types of synthesis. The first one is when we have an analysis from figure 1 linked to an analysis in table 1. For example, in January 2016, the number of guests in Harmony Homestay was the highest, 180, as the homestay received the highest rating, 5, for its facilities, cleanliness, and customer service. If you look at this synthesis, this part, in January 2016, the number of guests in Harmony Homestay was the highest, 180. This is an analysis from figure 1. Then you see the linker S. Then, the next part of the synthesis, the homestay received the highest rating, 5, for its facilities, cleanliness, and customer service. This is an analysis that is formed based on table 1. We use the linker S to show cause and effect relationship. Now let's look at the second example. In December 2016, the number of guests in Melo Homestay, 45, was lower than Yasmin Homestay, 75. Now, this is an analysis formed based on figure 1. Although Yasmin Homestay received more poor rating, rating 2, for its features, 4 features, than Melo Homestay, 1 feature. This is an analysis formed based on table 1. And here, we use the linker although, as we want to show there is a contrast between the 2 analyses. Let's look at a few more examples. This is a synthesis where you link an analysis from figure 1 with a description from table 1. For example, in December 2016, the number of guests in Melo Homestay was the lowest, 45, due to the guests giving rating 2 to its customer service. The first part of this synthesis is the analysis from figure 1. Then we use the linker due to. And the last part of this synthesis, the guests giving rating 2 to its customer service, this is a description. As you can see, there is no trend word in this part of the sentence. This is also acceptable as a synthesis. Type 3 is when we link a description from figure 1 with an analysis from table 1. For example, in June 2016, the number of guests in Harmony Homestay was 270. This is a description from figure 1. Due to is a linker. The guests giving the highest rating of 5, very good, to 3 of its 4 features. This is an analysis based on table 1. Thus, this can be accepted as a synthesis. Important note: when you write a synthesis, you are linking the 2 visuals given. You must make sure that one of the information in the synthesis is a complete analysis. Now, let's look at the last component of the report, the conclusion. Here are the steps. First, look at the overview and rewrite the overview. Next, look at the connection between figure 1 and table 1. When you rewrite the overview, you don't really have to do much actually. All you had to do is to change a few words in the overview so it becomes the conclusion. The words that you must use is in conclusion, and you also must make sure the time frame and the phrase correlated with is written in your conclusion. For example, in conclusion, in 2016, number of guests in homestays correlated with satisfaction ratings received from guests in 2016. As you can see, here I have replaced the word generally in the overview with the phrase in conclusion. Quite simple, isn't it? Here are other important notes. Not all visuals are the same. Visuals may have the same time frame or they may have different time frames. So, study the visuals carefully. Make sure you examine each visual carefully before writing the report. Find the key features, the time frame, data, and possible trend words and linkers. Make sure you write the title and introduction correctly. The overview and the conclusion have the same information. Focus first in writing the analysis before attempting to write synthesis. And if you do write synthesis, write at least 1 or 2 syntheses. That's all for today's lesson. Hope you have learned a lot of things from this lesson. See you soon. Bye.